am Amiah Hamilton. I am a junior at Brownsburg High School. I do the events the 100, 200, long jump, and triple jump, and my main event is long jump.
I love
You said
it.
triple jump in there.
Yeah.
How did that sneak in? Because Indiana doesn't
Um,
do triple jump.
During last summer, in AAU, I ran for SOCA, and my coach, he taught me, one of the coaches there, he taught me how to do triple jump. And it was my first time doing it, and I ended with a 35 9.5 for triple jump. So
Okay. So you look, you adding that to the rotation.
But triple jump is my favorite event.
yeah, I like triple jump.
And when we get this meet together, we gonna
Yeah.
slide it in there. And
Get
it
to
very well may be in Brownsburg.
right, right. For
So,
sure.
so you
For
we really
sure.
bringing you to the table then.
Right. We got to
Um,
represent. So,
right.
Amaya, how did you get into track and field? What age did you start running?
I was in eighth grade. It was at lunch. Me and my friends, we were sitting at a table, and the teachers, they were making an announcement and like on sports and things, and they were handing out flyers. So me and my friends, we went to get a flyer, and I was like, I think we should try this just for fun. It wasn't really like something that I was like actually interested in. It was just like a little something I wanted to do with my friends. But also too, like a lot of people always told me, since I'm like tall and have long legs, that I should either should run track or do volleyball. So I just went with track and tried that out.
Hmm.
Nice.
How tall are you?
5'6".
Okay.
Yeah.
You're above average. I wouldn't necessarily call you tall, but okay, that
I
works.
was always like a pretty lengthy kid, but I haven't really like grown in the past few years anymore.
She
You
was
might hit a
five
growth
six in
spurt.
eighth grade.
You're right.
The
But
five
you
six
might,
eight.
yeah, you probably were tall for eighth
In
grade.
eighth grade, I don't remember how tall I was.
Oh. But just so you keep hope alive, I had an
Uh-uh.
athlete once,
It's
and she
glitching out.
she grew like 2 inches in college, maybe three. And I was like, how does that happen? But and she was built like you. So
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about what's inspired you. What's been your biggest inspiration in the sport?
Mainly just seeing like all like it's mainly through social media, like seeing other people like their achievements and accomplishments, and also my teammates too. Like just being around people who have the same goals and like mindset as me, just those people pushing me to be better and just being around that good energy. Like that's basically what inspires me.
That's good.
Okay.
So, you've been running since you were in eighth grade. You've had an opportunity to compete in JOs. What's been your most favorite memory so far?
I'd say my favorite memory all in eighth grade was when I first jumped a 16 and a half because I literally had no idea what I was doing at all. And I had no coaching. And I also used to land in the splits in middle school. And I'm surprised I don't have any injuries from that. But I always used to land in the splits. And I remember that was the meet at Zionsville. I think that was our conference meet, I think. But we ended up winning our school. And it was just like a super happy celebration. And everybody was super happy for me. Yeah, it was a good moment.
Yeah, natural born jumper. Be doing. So, what would you say, Amaya, has been the most challenging part of being a track and field athlete?
I would definitely say is mentality because mentality does play a huge part in it. Because if you can be a good athlete, like physically, run fast, jump good, but if it really depends on your mental, because if you're not mentally there, then you're not going to perform well because you're too deep in what you're thinking of to where you completely forget about everything else and you're not going to be able to compete well.
These are facts. And with that, and because you do some like you long jump, triple jump, you can have how do you handle those setbacks? Because I've been in meets where people scratched all three jumps and never even had a chance to make it to finals and stuff like that. So how do you handle those setbacks? Or if you scratch two, you got one left. How do you get yourself together for that?
Really, it's just a lot of self-talks and also praying too. That helps a lot. But I also just like talk to myself. I'm just reminding myself that I am supposed to be here and that I am good competition and that I am like a good athlete because a lot of times I get in my head of like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. Oh, I'm not doing well. I don't know what I'm doing. Just completely like forgetting everything that I know I'm supposed to be doing.
So would you say that how you prepare mentally has changed over time and you've gotten better at it? Because you're mentioning a lot of great things about, you can be
Yes.
talented, but if you don't have the right mindset. And so how did you get to that point where the positive self-talk, did your coaches, did your village, like who helped you understand that the mental aspect of it is really important?
It's definitely the people around you, my coaches too, because my face will definitely show my emotion before my words do. So my coaches, my long jump coach, he's always just like reminding me like you're a good athlete, don't get in your head, like basically just stuff like that. Because he even told me at practice a couple days ago, he was talking about how the indoor state meet because I didn't do too good at that time, and he was like, just because you jumped at 18 and don't get in your head because you know other people have like expectations for you now, so it just basically helped me with that.
Mhm. Good. And want to name drop your long jump coach. Got to give him or her kudos.
Coach Brahman.
Oh man, shout out to him.
With that, like you do have those ups and downs. Now you have people with the expectations on you, like you were saying.
Mhm.
What would you say you've kind of learned throughout this track journey so far in terms of life lessons?
I would definitely say like self discipline because I don't really stay on a top of a lot of things, but I try to like make sure, especially with track, like I need to eat right, need to sleep right, need to make sure I do everything that I need to do to be able to be prepared for the meet that's coming up. Basically, things like that, making sure I'm taking care of my body and all of that, stretching, just making sure I'm prepared.
What role do your parents play in your track and field world? Because it is its own world. So, what does your village look like? How are your parents contributing to this journey?
My parents are very supportive. Like they're really good and involved in all of my track things. My stepdad, he's a track coach. He coaches at Fall Creek Middle School, and he'll take me to like help me do steps with long jump or drills or just blocks or running. He's really good with that, and it'll just help me like prepare better and understand more, go into more into depth about the event and how to like conquer obstacles and stuff like that.
That's great. We want to shout out to Reynolds. What's your dad coach his
Um,
name?
he goes by Coach Rails.
Okay. Love it. Love it.
Like a big thing is when it comes to high school and track and field, you can be all over the place. So how do you balance like academics with athletics, and on top of that, the social life?
Uh, it can be a lot sometimes. Definitely school. And since I have a study hall, I use that mainly like to do everything with that I need, like homework and studying and things. And like sometimes after meets, it can get really hard if I still have like homework that I need to complete. I'll just do it next morning because I'm too tired from after the meet. So sometimes it can get kind of hard, like battling academics and athletics. But it's it can get difficult, but it's pretty good.
What about the
Yeah.
social part? Because I know
Yeah.
you have friends that may not run track. So what do you do with them?
Mainly it's on the weekends if I'm not busy because a lot of the times I tell them, oh, they like want to hang out. And I'm like, oh, I'm at practice. Oh, I have practice. So it's kind of like hard to hang out with them sometimes, but I make time for them when I can.
How would you define success?
I would say success is definitely not giving up because I feel like a lot of people will say that like they failed if they don't do something correctly, but I feel like you only fail when you give up. So I feel like succeeding is when you know you've gave it your all and you've pushed yourself to be the best that you can be.
Now, you and your preparation. Sometimes this thing takes a long time to get there, right?
Hmm.
So how do you maintain your patience? How do you develop your how do you make it through like tough workouts? How does all that play out for you? What are the little things that you do to help keep pushing yourself forward?
Sometimes it can get kind of hard to like continue workouts, but I just have like a lot of self-talks. Like, you need to do this if you want to be able to be good, then this is what you need to do to be able to get to where you want to be. It's just basically a lot of self-talks that I do.
What would you say sets apart a great athlete from a good athlete?
I would say a good athlete is just someone who just does like workouts from the school and doesn't do anything outside. And a great athlete is someone who actually goes to an outside source and still works on more things outside of what they're just being given in school.
So are you mean like during season or after season?
Well, both. Because I feel like if you want something, then if you really want something, then you're going to find a way to like get it and be better at it instead of just waiting until in season to do stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sometimes that could be a little tricky, but I feel you though. I feel the extra knowledge. Let me get this little extra help on whatever it may be. Maybe it's block starts. Maybe it's,
Hmm.
landing for long jump. I get all that. Now, you talked about your HSR and how you said, it wasn't what you wanted. How do you handle the pressure of big competitions?
Well, whenever I'm under a lot of pressure, I get like super nervous, and that's part of the reason why like my jumps don't always go so good because that's the same thing that happened last year at outdoor state. I was super nervous and I wasn't able to jump like correctly. So I just feel like a lot of the pressure, it's just a lot. I know I keep repeating it, but it's like a lot of self-talks and
Mhm.
also a lot of praying too, because if I know nobody else is there to talk to, then I have God to help me get through any obstacles that I need to overcome.
Yeah. Another little secret here is when you start to get nervous like that, if you just visualize yourself over and over and over doing it the way that you want it done,
Hmm.
that usually alleviates some of those nerves. And it, or prevents them. If you just focus that energy there, then a
Hmm.
lot of times that translates into into a good performance. So
Sure.
if that
Okay.
helps.
Look, Jay is the track whisperer for sure. So, we talked about on the side of if you don't do as well as you thought, but how do you celebrate when you've reached an achievement, a goal you set out for yourself?
I would say food. Because whenever like I do good, my parents are like, "Oh, what do you want for dinner? What do you want to eat? What do you want to do?" I basically just say like I want something, like I want food. And it's not like any type of specific food because I like a lot of foods, but
Mhm.
yeah, basically just food.
It's
Yeah,
good foods though, right?
right, right.
Yes.
We're not fast fooding it up all the way home, are we?
No.
Okay, I'm
Get
just
some
making sure. You
Chick-fil-A.
was talking about feeding yourself right and all that. I don't see
Look,
you
it's
saying
it's
I
okay if
like a
it's
lot of foods. I don't know what that means. So, how do you like with your school season, club season? How do you maintain your health? How do you prevent injuries, all that type of stuff? Because I know that's pretty common, especially being a jumper and a sprinter. If
Mhm.
conditions aren't right, sometimes that can throw you off. So, how do you maintain that?
So I don't really get injured super easily. Like a lot of times because since I'm a jumper, whenever I tell people that I've never had shin splints, they're like, "How do you not? Like, how have you never had that before?" But I'm just like overly stretched, and also too, I take Epsom salt baths, which really help like my body and my muscles, and then massage gun too. Just all of those that basically help.
I was
No,
gonna say you talked about what you do to maintain your physical part. What do you do for nutrition side? I know you mentioned like, hey, after a great meal, you celebrate with food. How does your nutrition play a role in your performances?
I drink a lot of water. That's actually like the only thing I'll drink. Sometimes I'll drink milk and sometimes a little bit of juice, but I drink a lot of water. And I'll make sure that I don't eat too much of like junk food because sometimes I do get a sweet tooth like a lot at night. And I'll try to like make sure I don't eat too much of that because I don't want it to like mess up my body. But I'll definitely like stay on top of making sure I eat like healthy like salads or good sandwiches, anything like that.
all right. Now, we know your team. We're aware of your team, and you all have a lot of talent. So I'm curious, how do you balance your individual goals with like team goals?
Individual goals, usually like team goals, I want our team to be good, to perform good, and to win. But for me, it's not always all about winning. It's just performing to the best of your abilities, making sure that you do your best. And I just make sure like, even though I have my own goals, because at the end of the day, we're still a team, even though we're performing individually. And I know that I have what I want to do, but also too I make sure that like I ask everybody, "Oh, what's your goal for today? How do you want to do? Like what are you going to run?" And I just make sure like I cheer them on and make sure that they stay in their right mindset because I don't want my mindset to rub off on them. Make sure they stay in the right good like have good energy so they can perform well.
Does technology play a role in how you study your performances to get better?
Yeah, definitely. Before some meets, I'll watch film of just Olympian females running and like slowing down the videos to like see the way they run and like their takeoff and how they like swing into the sand and go in, just basically memorizing their moves so I can put it into my head and copy it down. Because that's what I did for when I jumped at 18. That's what I did. I just watched a lot of videos and made sure that I remembered how they jump so I could be able to jump like that too.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Right. So tell us what are you looking forward to this season? What's like big on your list?
Definitely, because I want to be consistent with jumping 18s. Because my freshman year, I wasn't the best at long jump, but I was consistent in my numbers. And sophomore year, I was consistent in jumping 17s. So I want to keep going up a foot each year and be consistent with that jump.
If we ask your team and or your coaches to describe you in one word, what would it be and why?
I would say humble because when I jumped the 18, the person who does our photography, he was like, "Come on, I got to take a picture of you so I can post you on Twitter for because you just jumped an 18 and you broke the record." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he was like, "You're so nonchalant about it. You're so humble about it." I'm like, "Yeah." Like I know it's a big thing. Like of course I'm happy, but I'm not gonna like flaunt on it and like be like, "Oh, I'm better than you." Da 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 da. Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, we all have a goal. We're all people. We all have something we want to do. My accomplishment is a big thing, but also too like I'm not gonna try to rub it in your face because that's not right. So I would definitely say my people would say that I'm a humble person.
So,
All right, cool. Well, Maya, if people wanted to follow you out the rest of the season, see how you're doing throughout the summer, where should they go?
I would say Instagram. That's where I'm most active.
Okay.
what's your name? What's the name that they should type in to follow you?
Amiah.Hamilton.
All right.
Hey,
Good deal. Well, Maya, we appreciate you joining us. And
Thank you.
we look forward to seeing you this season.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Stay warm out there while you train there. Well, you all have something warm to train in now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it should be good. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.